Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily Podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. It's Monday. Let me bring down that micro a little bit. I want to blow your head off. Welcome to the show. Please come inside. My goodness, what a weekend. What a weekend. Who designs the NFL uniforms, by the way? What the hell is up with that Pittsburgh uniform? I could do better. It was kind of an insult to the Steelers. Kind of an insult to the Steelers. I'm like, what the hell? Really? What? What is this supposed to be? It was like, I don't even know. It was ugly. Anyway, welcome. Come on in. Enjoy me. We have a lot of things to get to on the show today. I had a very busy weekend. I exercised a lot and I made pumpkin cheesecake. I have officially surrendered to fall. Yeah, I know. I'm the only talk radio host in America who not only does comedy but also shares his kitchen creations on the web. I did a pumpkin cheesecake with pumpkin spiced ginger snap crust, and then on top I put salted caramel and pumpkin spice pumpkin seeds. I know, that's my life. That is my life. It's so exciting. My God. You wish you were me, don't you? No, you don't. Of course you don't. No one would wish that upon themselves. Anyway, a lot of things happening. Zohran Mamdani now, after he glad-handed a 9/11 co-conspirator and put his arm around him, and people said, maybe Zohran Mamdani is down with radical Islam since he won't tell Hamas to put their arms down, and he likes to say things like globalize the intifada, and maybe, I don't know, some people put two and two together and discovered this guy's a radical Islamist and a very dangerous man. So he goes ahead this weekend and gets out there and starts talking about his auntie. His auntie, after 9/11, was apparently a little nervous about getting on the subway in her hijab because she was scared, I guess, right? Well, to Zohran Mamdani, I hate to tell you this, but since 9/11, about 1 billion of us have been really terrified about flying because of what radical Islamists did on 9/11. They flew some planes into buildings and into the ground in Pennsylvania and murdered a whole lot of people. So how about, shut up, give me a break. Then they had a big rally last night. Thousands of people showed up. It was bought and paid for. Nobody went to see it organically. It was just like the No Kings rally, and you could say all you want about it, but it was a fluffed crowd. They all went in. I'm sure they were paid for, and it looked like a concert crowd. He's never been able to draw that kind of people before. Neither has anybody else. AOC and Bernie did a thing in Colorado about 4 or 5 months ago. We found out that every one of the cell phones in the arena had already been to a half a dozen Kamala Harris rallies. So this is all not organic. They're trying to make it sound like this race is over. It is not over. It is not over. You see today, despite all of this, despite hugging a 9/11 co-conspirator, that he's more popular than he ever was. More popular than he's ever been. Really? And then, of course, they're trying to get Curtis Sliwa to drop out of the race and all of that. And as far as I'm concerned, vote Sliwa, burn the whole damn place down. I mean, it's easier for me to say because I don't live there. Easier to say because I don't live there, but honestly, if New York wants to elect this guy, as I like to say, there's an expression in northern Kentucky. It's called yon. It's Y-O-N-Y-O-N-E. Yon, okay? If you want to vote for Zohran Mamdani and put him in office, yon. Yeah, yon. We're not going to help you at all. Go ahead and destroy your city. Think you're going to get all sorts of freebies that are never going to happen. Think you're going to be able to get an affordable house that is government sanctioned and government run grocery stores. See Cuba about that, because it didn't end up very well for them. Didn't end up for the Soviet Union. Hasn't resulted very well in communist China. But yon, people. Yon, and as far as I'm concerned, Donald Trump can cut all federal aid to New York City if they want to do that. So we will see. We will see. President Trump signed a historic peace agreement between Cambodia and Thailand, as well as trade agreements in Cambodia, Thailand, and Malaysia. Upon arrival in Kuala Lumpur, where he was greeted, you'd see he stepped off the plane, and they were dancing to the YMCA, and he danced to the YMCA with them, and they were all happy because, you know, he's a great president, and people respect and fear him and love him around the world, unlike Joe Biden. Trump signed separate peace deals, detailed a separate memoranda understanding. The U.S. reached a minerals deal with Thailand, sharing investment opportunities in the mineral sector. It's going to make it easier for us to get minerals and whatnot for building electric cars and stuff. Finally, a deal reached a trade deal with China. According to the Asian nation, will drop tariffs on 99% of American goods, which is good because they tariff the crap out of our stuff. And it looks like we're on the cusp of a big deal with China. I know, it's kind of crazy. It's amazing what happens when you project strength rather than, you know, have pudding for brains and poop your pants every day like Joe Biden did. And don't let anybody try to fool you. That's what he did. Here is Donald Trump talking about the shutdown. You know, the shutdown's going on. A lot of things happening with the shutdown. FAA announced that flights to Los Angeles, California were halted due to staffing shortages of air traffic controllers during the ongoing government shutdown. And they could easily get a CR. They've done it before. But the Democrat Party feels like for some reason, despite the fact they have no leverage whatsoever, they're going to try and extort some money out of us and continue to give illegals free health care. And Donald Trump basically said today, it's not going to happen. It's quite simply not going to happen. And the Democrats are going to have to come to realize they're being blamed for it because they are insane. And everybody knows they're doing it. But here is Donald Trump on Air Force One talking about meeting with Hakeem Jeffries and Chuck Schumer.
Do you think you'll sit down with Hakeem Jeffries and...
I would. I'd be willing to. I would have now, too. You know, I left. I said, come on over, just put the government back. All they have to do is say yes, and it's over. And we start. And then we go into a negotiation. Look, Obamacare has been terrible. Yeah. We can make it better. Yeah. I'm all for that. But they're not. And they want to allow many, many illegal people that came into our country illegally from prisons, from mental institutions, from all over the world. They want them to get paid, and that's going to hurt the citizens of our country, and I just can't do it.
Yeah. They this weekend I had posted a thing about all these crazy, you know, cul-de-sac dwelling white cat ladies, and I got challenged by one of the crazy cat ladies who I know, and I haven't seen her in about 10 years, and she is a liberal leftist cul-de-sac dwelling Montgomery County, Maryland person. I said, where were you with these protests? You're out this weekend at No Kings. Why weren't you protesting as a mother of the 300,000+ kids who were trafficked across the southern border for sex and labor? Where were you with the daughters of thousands being trapped across the southern border to be worked to death in brothels around America, in strip malls? Where were you there, Mom? Where were you, Mom? I got no response. I think she unfriended me, which is fine with me. I don't want anything to do with her. So there is that. Scott Besson was out. He had a lot of fun this weekend. Scott Besson treated the weekend anchors like cat toys. Here he is going after Kristen Welker when she was all panicked about the government shutdown and people not getting paid, even though she didn't give a dang about any of us when Joe Biden was the president.
Now in the second longest shutdown in U.S. history, when will President Trump meet with Democrats to try to bring this shutdown to a close and get federal workers their paychecks back again, Mr. Secretary?
Well, Chris, I'm going to have to reject the premise of your question. Why does President Trump have to meet with Democrats? Democrats just need to go into the Senate and vote to end the shutdown.
But President Trump has said in the past, it's up to the president. He's the president. No, he said that in the past. He said you have to be a leader.
The Democrats voted for the CR in the past a half a dozen times too there, Sunshine.
The president has to lead. You have to get people into a room. You have to get a deal. When's he going to do that?
Well,
maybe when you stop calling him a Nazi and a fascist.
He is leading, and there's no deal to do with Chuck Schumer. Chuck Schumer is trading off his polls. What's different than when he passed a clean CR in the spring? It's his polls.
Yeah.
You know, the whole country's being held captive to AOC's polls.
Yeah.
Well, let's look at the numbers. It's 52-3. 52 Republicans have voted, I believe it's 11 times, to reopen the government. 3 Democrats have. Yeah. And right here, right now, I would urge moderate Democratic senators to come across.
Yeah, because you know what? You're not going to get anywhere with this. It's not going to change. It's not going to open. Donald Trump isn't going to go, okay, you get to 1.5 trillion. It's not going to happen. Here's old Besson over talking to Martha Ratface. Matt Raditz.
Well, what good does it do, Martha? They've dug in. The American people are hostage to Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries' poll numbers. Because what's changed between now and the last time there was a clean continuing resolution is Chuck Schumer has tanked in the polls. Both of the 2 guys from Brooklyn, like I call them, are worried about being primaried from the left.
That's true.
52 Republican senators have voted 11 times to reopen the government. 3 brave, moderate Democrats have come across the aisle. So, you know, I call on moderate Democratic senators to end this craziness. You'll be heroes.
Yeah, because it's not going to happen the other way. I don't know if you knew this. Donald Trump's pretty resolute when he decides he's going to do something, because you guys tried to put him in jail and take his fortune and keep him off the ballot and murder him. So he's not taking any crap from you anymore. So you're going to have to come to the table. You're going to have to pass a CR because it ain't going to happen. And by the way, the country's blaming you because you're friggin' nuts and you're behaving like little children. So it's a no-win situation for you. I would suggest you get on the right side of history. We got a lot of stuff coming up, including the ballroom derangement syndrome, a bunch of stuff on that. Zohran Mamdani and his big rally last night, bought and paid for, featuring AOC, who's just gone off the deep end, all of that. Also, John Reed joins us at the bottom of the hour. He's running for lieutenant governor in the state of Virginia. Blaine Holt joins us. Dick Morris joins us on the show today. It's a Monday on the Rob Carson Show. We'll be right back.
Free in libs' heads I'm living, the fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent free, I'm occupying. Rosie is lying. She says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hey, Red, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live. Rent free.
A socialist, Mamdani, a communist. He's a fan of a muss. His win will be New York's loss. He's an extremist, you bet, as New York's gonna get taxed like never before. When Mamdani is done, the city will run every grocery store. He'll defund the police, and crime will increase as the murder rate begins to soar. Mamdani, anti-Jew, he despises Netanyahu. It is really a sin. New Yorkers voted him in. They'll regret that they helped him win.
Well, I'm gonna pay a visit. I'm headed to the Everglades. Gonna see a brand new prison for folks arrested in ICE raids. I hear it's already getting all kinds of accolades. Alligator Alcatraz, it's where illegals will be kept. We're cracking down, unlike Biden, who was totally inept. It is something that the liberals in Florida cannot accept. California Alcatraz, I want to open that one too. Just imagine the hard time that real criminals will do. Alligator Alcatraz, I'm gonna take a tour of you.
The Rob Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
But Jeffries, you kind of conflated a spending bill with a clean CR. It's only 24 pages. It keeps the government open at this point. And the House passed it. It's ready to go. The Senate has it. I know
the votes of Democratic senators are required. Then, of course, there should be a bipartisan discussion about enacting a spending bill that is designed to actually make life better for the American people, lower the high cost of living.
Why didn't you do that when Joe Biden was the president?
Environment where Donald Trump and Republicans promised that costs were going to go down.
They have.
On day one. Costs aren't going down. Inflation is...
no, they have actually. The price of eggs is about a third of what it was.
Moving in the wrong direction.
Yeah, we got the gas average below $3 a gallon for the first time in years.
The Trump tariffs are causing thousands of dollars of additional expense.
You're exactly wrong. It's actually bringing in billions and billions of dollars.
On everyday Americans. Grocery costs have gone up.
No, they haven't actually. They went up 50% under Joe Biden's administration, though.
Housing costs are going up.
No. Housing costs tripled. No, doubled. Housing costs doubled. I'm sorry. Interest rates tripled when Joe Biden was the president.
Electricity bills are through the roof.
No, they're not, actually. They're coming down.
And now tens of millions of people are facing dramatically increased health care premiums. In some instances...
Obamacare caused health care premiums to go from $12,000 a year for a family of four to $35,000 a year for a family of four. Everything he says is a lie.
But what changed from when the Democrats said we will not negotiate when the government is shut down on health care? Not now, reopen the government, then we'll negotiate. That happened in 2013. What happened, what changed since then to where we are now, where you can use a government shutdown to extract concessions from Republicans?
We are not using a government shutdown to extract any concessions. We want to...
Oh, my God, of course you are.
...reopen the government immediately. Donald Trump has refused to meet with Democrats over the last 24 days.
He's been too busy, getting hostages home that were held by Hamas and negotiating a peace deal in Gaza and getting minerals deals and all sorts of other things. And the Democrats are losing, by the way. Losing big time. This is brand new from Jim Gossett as the president.
It sucks to be you. Democrats, you.
Yeah, it does.
Inflation is down. Schumer's a clown. He'll get his due.
It's coming.
No Kings was a flop.
Oh, yeah.
But you will not stop. I'll bring the world peace. More wars I will cease. we'll come out on top.
Kicking butt in Asia, too, right now, by the way.
Drug boats we took out. We ended all doubt.
Taking out drug boats and everything.
The border is closed.
Yep.
Letitia is hosed.
Yeah.
While Democrats pout.
That'll be the first time.
The new ballroom will be complete.
That's pretty awesome.
While Democrats will suffer defeat. It sucks to be you, miserable you. It sucks to be you.
Now, a new NBC News poll shows the Democratic Party has reached an all-time low in popularity.
Why and all you want about the National Guard? Antifa pals, we will bombard. It sucks to be you. You know that it's true. It sucks to be you.
There you go, ready for Jim Gossett. So the Democrats, Eric Swallowswell, who, of course, had a Chinese prostitute spy for a while. He probably gave up all sorts of secrets while he was sleeping next to her. You know, I'm just saying loose lips, sink ships and all of that. But he says that the number one determining factor from anyone who wants to run in 2028 is you have to commit to tearing down a $300 million ballroom that presidents have wanted for decades. Because he's unhinged, insane, and a complete loser, by the way. Here's Stephen Miller explaining why the ballroom is needed.
The East Wing, which importantly is not part of the White House, it is not part of the residence. It was a cheaply built add-on structure in the mid-20th century, which houses offices, is not a residence, nobody lives there, is badly in need of refurbishment, repair, and renovation. The White House also desperately needs and has long needed a place to hold large events for Americans, for visitors, for visiting delegations, befitting the greatest nation in the world. As I'm sure you know and you've seen, your viewers have seen, in the past when large events were held at the White House, they had to erect a makeshift tent in the mud at great expense, build it up, then tear it down over and over and over again. So
and they had to go to outhouses.
Every time Obama held a big event at the White House, what would he do? Build a tent, fill it up, tear it down.
Porta potties.
That's absurd. We're the United States of America. We have to be able to hold events at the People's House in the United States Capitol. And very importantly, President Trump is making sure it's in the neoclassical design around which our nation's architecture has long been directed.
Yes, because we like to hold big balls, thank you very much, and we want a good place to hold them big balls. This is from the Washington Post in defense of the White House ballroom. Others see what they love about Trump, a lifelong builder, boldly pursuing a grand vision, a change agent unafraid to decisively take a status quo, and a developer slashing through red tape that would stymie any normal administration. It's absurd that tents need to be erected around the South Lawn for state dinners and VIPs are forced to use porta potties. This is the Washington Post. The state dining room seats 140. The East Room seats 200. Trump says the ballroom at the center of this 90,000 square foot addition will accommodate 999 guests. The traditional reviews have been put aside. The blueprints would have faced death penalty under 1,000 paper cuts. Fortunately for Trump, the White House is exempt from some of the required regulations that other federal buildings must comply with. Many homeowners have become red-pilled by their struggles to navigate the slow-as-molasses maze of government bureaucracy when they're trying to make even the most modest renovations. Let me give you an example. After a fence jumper got inside the White House in 2014, it was obvious the perimeter needed to be installed. They had public meetings at the Planning Commission over 2 years, and construction did not begin until 2019. Dwight Eisenhower, they wanted to put up a memorial near the Air and Space Museum in 1999. An architect was chosen 10 years later. It didn't get completed until 2020. 21 years. And Donald Trump is promising it's going to get done. It's going to get done right. It's going to be on time and under budget before he leaves the White House. The Democrat, your arguments are specious and nonsensical and childish. And you're going to lose on this one as much as you've lost on every every single thing else that you've been B-wording about since he became the president, okay? So it's about time your temper tantrum ends, but I have a funny feeling you won't do it until the Democrat Party is completely driven into oblivion. Let's take a break and come back. John Reed, running for Lieutenant Governor, joins us on the other side of this break, and this is The Rob Carson Show. Hey guys, it's Carson. Forget fresh olive oil. I eat olive oil every day. I got rid of seed oils years ago. Life is too short to not have wonderful fresh olive oil, and I mean fresh. Olive oil packs the most flavor and healthy ingredients when it's fresh from the farm. And that's the problem with supermarket olive oils. They're not fresh. They can sit on the shelf for months growing stale. That's why I get my olive oil from small, award-winning farms, thanks to a fellow named T.J. Robinson, also known as the Olive Oil Hunter. When I tasted TJ Farms' fresh olive oils, I fell in love with their vibrant, grassy flavors. They're incredibly delicious on salad, veggies, pasta, meat, fish, you name it. And as an introduction to his Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club, TJ is willing to send you a full-size $39 bottle of one of the world's finest artisanal olive oils, fresh from the new harvest, for just $1 to help him cover shipping. There's no commitment to buy anything now or later. Get your free $39 bottle for just $1 and taste the difference freshness makes. Go to GetFreshRobCarson.com. That's GetFreshRobCarson.com for a free bottle and pay just $1 shipping. GetFreshRobCarson.com.
Well, they have a lot of cats, and they're mostly Democrats like V.P. Harris. They cry when they lose from their left-wing views. I wish they'd spare us. They're cat ladies. Whoa, 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 they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who have clearly lost their minds.
People that are pro-life, I hate you!
Got called out by J.D. Vance. When he had the chance, he really nailed them. They're too dumb to know. Kamala and Joe have really failed them. They're cat ladies. Don't have a child, they're cat ladies. Talking about some miserable ladies who are out of their minds. Tim Walz is a lefty who's ruined his state. Now he wants our children to self-mutilate. His policies are disgusting and lewd. And now he says schools have to include tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz and Kamala, a couple of fools. And everybody knows that liberals want to ruin schools. Tim allowed his cities to be burned by BLM. Criminals, illegals, they can count on Tim. His uniform, Tim was disgraced. He really crossed the line the moment that he placed tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz is a commie. Kamala is too. And everyone should know the damage that these two could do.
State Coincident Index. This is actually a really, really important report. It's used by banks. It's used by investors. It's actually a game-breaking methodology. Maybe I'll go into it another time. But basically, they look at factors from the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the Bureau of Economic Analysis to basically see how the states are doing. And this is a 3-month analysis basically saying, are states growing or are they shrinking? Maryland, we stand alone as the worst in the entire country. Wow. Maryland stands alone as shrinking, right? This means that according to their analysis, we have been going in the wrong direction. While everyone else is going positive, the tide is rising, including our neighbors. North Carolina is killing it. Virginia is getting better. Pennsylvania is getting better over the past 3 months. We are shrinking.
Yeah, the Maryland economy is the worst performing in America. And the last thing that we need to see is states becoming like Maryland. I'm afraid New York City is going to become worse than Maryland. We certainly can't let Virginia become worse than Maryland, because I moved back here, didn't even consider living in Maryland again, where I used to live for 12 years, because Democrats have driven it into the crapper. This is according to the State Coincidences Index. Federal Reserve Bank of Philadelphia puts down a monthly coincidence index for 50 states, including non-farm payroll, average hours worked, unemployment rate, the sum of wages and salaries. Maryland is the worst in the country. Not a big surprise to those who are intelligent. That is from, by the way, a guy, he does some stuff online called The Snow in the Know, and he does a really good job. I want to give him credit. John Reed is running for lieutenant governor of the state of Virginia. We're trying to prevent Virginia from becoming like Maryland. John, welcome to the show. How are you, my friend?
I'm feeling good. You know, we're down to the last 8 days here. I'm going to be campaigning every day. I was up early this morning and went to jail to visit and see a remarkable drug rehab program in Chesterfield County. And, I'm trying to reach out to a lot of different people, see a lot of different things that regular politicians ignore. And I'm hoping that the voters will pay attention to that and will have confidence in me as an open-minded guy and will give me their vote as lieutenant governor. I hope they're going to vote Republican.
I do too, because I see Virginia as the endless possibilities of Virginia. It's a beautiful state. Maryland has shown that you, just like California, can turn Eden into hell on earth with overregulation and insanity. In the Maryland General Asylum, which we've been calling the Maryland General Assembly the General Asylum for 20 years, because they've been completely out of their minds. You've got people in the state of Virginia, your opponent, Ghazala Hashmi, who, by the way, didn't want to debate you. You went last week, did a virtual debate, which, by the way, I saw, and you treated her very fairly. You allowed her to answer the questions according to her policies. You would rebut, but it was not unfair at all, since she will not debate you. And suddenly this weekend she started running new ads, like maybe a little bit panic-stricken, and she says you want to get rid of public schools.
Oh, yeah. Oh, she is panicked. I mean, we got 4 polls right now that show that I'm tied or a little tiny bit ahead.
Yes.
And I know they did not expect that to be the case. So now, yeah, the guy whose father was a public school principal, whose mother was a public school teacher in Charlottesville, whose grandmother was a public school teacher for 25 years, and I went to the public schools. What, I'm gonna destroy them? No, yes. I am here to fix the public schools that aren't working instead of ignoring the problem. And I want to give parents in these inner cities the option to send their kid to another school if that's what they want to do. Why would we keep paying for something that's not working? And why would we take a group of people who are already, kind of behind the 8 ball and make it worse for them? Give them opportunities. What are we doing? Doubling, tripling down just because of the labor unions? I think that's the deal. I think the Democrats just can't stand up to the labor unions.
100%, and they don't want to either, because of the labor unions. The public sector unions give their money slavishly to the Democrat Party. I mean, 95% to the Democrat Party. So it's a convenient cabal. They get lots and lots of money. We know the Department of Education, which is no longer, had their budget increased. I think it was like 50% or more in the last 5 years. Meanwhile, test scores, we've gone from number 1 in the world to like 40th around the world in math and reading and whatnot. And the Democrat Party, they like to keep people, particularly in America's inner cities, uneducated, needy, and aggrieved. That's generally the way they are. But you know what? The wall's coming down. The wall is coming down, and it's certainly coming down in Virginia. I couldn't help but notice the Abigail Spanberger. She decided to take the lieutenant governor candidate of the Democrat Party off of her bus. They not physically, but they wrapped her bus without Jay Jones' name on it. That's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, Ghazala Hashmi, my opponent for lieutenant governor, removed from the side of the bus. Jay Jones, removed from the side of the bus. I think the Democrats who thought this was going to be a cakewalk with the, $50 million that they've raised from out of state with all these, various special interest groups, they thought they'd just buy this election.
Yeah.
But, what they didn't count on was someone like me who was going to get up at 4 a.m. every single day without taking a day off and bust my butt to meet people and listen to them and respond to them. And then, of course, they didn't count on Jay Jones getting caught saying that he wouldn't mind putting 2 bullets in the head of a political opponent, killing his kids. I mean, even if you're a little left of center, I think that crosses the line. And, it's weird. If I were Abigail Spanberger, I would have just disowned the guy from the beginning.
Yeah.
Like, this crosses the line.
Yeah.
Political violence is unacceptable. I'm not dealing with it. But she can't bring herself to do it. Ghazala Hashmi, the woman I'm running against, she can't bring herself to do it. For some reason, they are obligated. You can't shame them.
No.
But I would think just from a political, practical zone, they would say, we got to get rid of these people. And I guess this is Abigail's way of doing it, is purging them from the side of the bus.
Yeah, look what they did. They kicked a black guy off a bus. That's a good idea.
Oh, boy.
You bet. I mean, honestly, it is. This is your Democrat Party. This is your Democrat Party, and this is. They are willing to. Here's what they're willing to do: anything to win. Zohran Mamdani is a radical Islamist. He is a communist. But finally, Hakeem Jeffries last week decided to endorse him because they feel like he's going to win. They will bed down with anyone to win the election, won't they?
That's right. They certainly will. There's no sense of shame. There's no sense of an obligation to the working people. The Democrats have gotten away for 40 years with claiming they care about the working people.
Yes.
That's not true. And you can tell that with the policies they're pushing.
Yeah.
Higher taxes on the working people, more regulations, which makes it less likely that working people have options if they don't like their job or they hate their boss or they're being mistreated. You want to have another job opportunity. That's why, John Reed, Winsome Sears, Jason Miyares, we are looking at every piece of legislation with, does this make us more competitive against our fellow states, Tennessee and Delaware and Maryland and North Carolina? We got to provide those jobs for people. And the Democrats are all crazy social justice warriors. They don't have a clue about business. And it's remarkable that so many folks are just now waking up to it. But I think it's going to be in time.
Yep.
These latest polls, I think it's going to be in time for
I think so, too. John Reed for Virginia. John, can you hold on through the break? I want to touch on the other side. Apparently, Abigail's all cool with gerrymandering if Democrats benefit from it. I want to get into that a little bit, among other things. So, John, go to John Reed for Virginia right now. John, REID for Virginia.com. See what he's all about, and voting is underway. We got 8 days left. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
as a naming convention, but I'm going to keep pushing with it or for it. I think one of the largest issues plaguing our country is the issue of gerrymandering. I work with many people who their only electoral concern is whether or not they have a primary. And if you are in a D+20 district or an R+20 district, and your electoral concern is whether or not you're making your party base happy, that becomes limiting in the sorts of choices that you do or do not make for the country and for your broader electorate. I think that the Congress would be a lot more effective and would get along a lot better if the entire composition, or at least half the composition of Congress, had members who came from districts like ours.
Yeah, that's Abigail Spanberger. She is down with gerrymandering to favor the Democrat Party. You see, Virginia is too competitive for the Democrat Party. They need to own states and drive them into oblivion, like Maryland or like New York or like New Jersey, which looks like it's going to turn. There's a lot of move away from that mindset. There's a lot of move away. This election in Virginia, I believe, has to be a referendum for the rejection of Karen and the radical left, which is what happened nationally. And to vote for Spanberger and to vote for Ghazala Hajmi is a step backward toward leftism, toward wokeness in schools, toward boys competing with girls in girls sports. Clearly those 80-20, now 90-10 issues, and Virginians need to be aware of this. John Reed is running for lieutenant governor of the state of Virginia, and that's what I think this is all about. I think we're seeing a move toward the Republican Party in New Jersey, and we're seeing this happening in other areas, and I hope that it happens in the state of Virginia as well.
Yeah, there's an awakening happening that the Democrats of 2025 are not the same Democrats that you grew up with in the 70s, 80s. I mean, it's really been corrupted, and they've been hijacked by the radical leftists, whether it's radical Islam, whether it's, socialist. This is not the same party. And that's why Democrats for John Reed kind of took off about a month ago. There were a lot of Democrats who said, hell no, I'm tired of the party that I was a part of, and they see somebody like me who is conservative but pretty open-minded, who tries to shoot straight with people and is fair in adjudicating things, and they want to be a part of that movement rather than the leftist movements that's destroying everything that even Democrats used to care about.
The thing that's happening nationally, John, is in places like Chicago, the Democrat Party is doing everything they can to keep Donald Trump from coming in, seeing the enormous turnaround like in Washington, D.C. on crime and whatnot. Next will come schools becoming better and all of this. And these population centers that keep states Democrat, I don't say blue, that's bullcrap. Red is the color of the Democrat Party. They're communists, they're socialists. But they're afraid of this, John. And right now, Virginia, a largely conservative state, largely agrarian state, beautiful state, is dominated by Democrats who live in Loudoun and Fairfax County on the hinterlands of Washington, D.C. They go into D.C. and work, and then they come home in Northern Virginia, and they espouse the same nonsense that they do in D.C. and in Maryland.
Yeah, and that's why we have been spending a lot of time in Southwest Virginia, Bristol and Abingdon and Dayton, Wise County. I mean, we're trying to make sure that the folks who don't feel listened to, who often feel disrespected by people in Richmond, our state capital, and in Washington, know this is your one moment to stand up and be heard. And it's why the Democrats coming back to the state capitol today to overturn the constitutional amendment that the people demanded is so egregious and reckless and irresponsible. I hope people will punish them for that. How dare you push for a constitutional amendment? The people of Virginia vote for it 2-1. It passes all across the whole state. They don't want partisanship. They don't want gerrymandering. And now the Democrats are coming to the state capitol during an election period to try to overturn that constitutional amendment. It is sick.
You remember that song when we were in the throes of the worst economy we've seen forever, when grocery prices doubled, when car prices doubled, and home prices doubled, and Oliver Anthony came out with that song, Rich Men North of Richmond?
That's right.
Those people still want to be in charge. They still want to be in charge in Washington, D.C. They still want to be in charge of Virginia. And we have had enough. And we have had enough. And they've been able to shout over, and they've been able to lie, and they've been able to avoid debates like they're doing with you, John. But I got to tell you, this is a referendum for what happened nationally, and Virginia has to be that sanctuary away from the leftism of Maryland, away from the leftism of Washington, D.C. John, how can people help you out, and where are you off to next?
Well, I will be in Northern Virginia tonight. I'll be in the Eastern Shore tomorrow, out near Tangier Island. Some really great towns that are typically ignored. So if you go and follow me on Facebook and Twitter, you can watch those travels. We're live streaming a lot of the speeches. And, of course, can I be candid with you?
Yes.
I'm up against the Democrat money machine.
Yeah.
So if you can go to johnreedforvirginia.com, I could sure use the money to compete against these out-of-state people who they're trying to buy this election.
I know they are.
I cannot let that happen.
I know. I was just seeing a statistic about Zohran Mamdani. More than half of the money for his campaign is coming in from other people outside who don't have to live there, but they want their guy in. And that's the same dang thing with these Democrats in Virginia.
They want to take over, and they will do or say whatever they have to. And those of us with basic common sense and some basic morals need to stand up and say no. If we don't do it now, it's going to be too late when you wake up, when they tax 50-60% of your income, and they have your daughters showering with men at the high school. Then you're going to wish you'd participated. So please help us stop that.
Yep, it's about, I said 2024 was turning away from nonsense back to common sense. Democrats in Virginia want to turn it back to nonsense. John Reed is one of the people that you can vote for, that you will keep common sense in Virginia. John, thank you so much, brother. God bless you. We'll talk again soon.
Always appreciate it. Thanks, Rob.
All right, let's take a break. John Reed for Virginia. Help him out if you can financially. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Hey, listen, are you a 50-year-old person looking for term life insurance? Then you need to talk to Bob. Bob specializes in helping people find $1 million or
Brian, I'm sorry. Streamers, I got a little busy here.
Level rates for the next
yeah, Argentina's Milei won in a landslide in Argentina's fantastic news. By the way, good news for Trump. Good news for Trump because he is the Trump of Argentina. Let's see who's watching here on the Facebook. Stephanie Brushwood, you're new. You're new. Hello there, Stephanie. Robert Lee Woohoo! Good to see you. Robert, I haven't seen you there before either. Welcome to the show. Please come inside. Enjoy your stay. Andrew Cordero. Robert Lawson. M. Farhan Ali. Hello and welcome over on the YouTube. Pamela's 3023. Hello, welcome to the show. Tommy to you. Look at all the names. Look at all the new names, and then some of our favorites. Of course, you've got Mickey Hastings over there as well, and then a lot of people streaming today on Twitter. Twitter is always
over 45 years ago.
I think you guys almost missed me. I think you guys almost missed me on Mondays. Maybe I could be wrong.
Their pricing calculator
provides
a great start. Try it online at LorianMakesSense.com.
Attention federal employees. Are you planning to retire or already retired? Let Greben Wealth Management, your TSP rollover services specialist, help you explore your options.
Keeping your money in the TSP means limited investment options, withdrawal restrictions, and no personalized advice.
Have other retirement plans? We can help with those too. Greben Wealth Management offers a full array of financial services.
Call Greben Wealth Management at 410-356-0111 and secure a prosperous retirement. Securities and advisory services.
Here we go, kids.
Financial, a registered investment advisor. Member FINRA Civic.
Yeah, 3.5.
Dig it.
And every time the top people come over from China, they're getting these big, beautiful, they put a tent on the White House. We don't have a ballroom at the White House. I offered, by the way, Jerry, years ago to build a ballroom at the White House, free of charge, $100 million ballroom. I said, we'll get the top 5 architects in America. We'll get the top people, top everything. We'll have the best ballroom because I noticed they always put tents up on the lawn.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Donald Trump, when Barack Obama was the president, offered to pay for a ballroom for the White House because they've wanted one forever. And the Democrat Party is so contrarian and so bat guano crazy that they won't accept this gift. And now, insanely saying, you can't run in 2028 unless you commit to tearing down a beautiful $300 million ballroom. These people are just out of their friggin' nuts. They need to be put out of our misery, for crying out loud. They're angry about everything. Here's Chris Murphy. Chris Murphy was mad because a billionaire stepped forward to pay the military this pay period. Donated $130 million to help cover the salaries of our soldiers. And Chris Murphy was mad about it because the Democrat Party wants everybody to be miserable. They tried to pass a bill last week so essential government employees would get a paycheck, including people who are air traffic controllers. The Democrat Party said no. They came up with a lame excuse. They want equal misery for everything. That's the ultimate example of what socialism is all about.
The New York Times reported that the private donor who gave President Trump $130 million to pay U.S. troops during the shutdown, that he is billionaire Timothy Mellon. And the donation appears to violate federal law. But what do you say to Americans who look at
old Jake Tapper
that and think it's President Trump, not Democrats, making sure that troops get paid?
Well, I think one of the reasons that President Trump is refusing to negotiate is because he likes the fact that the government is closed, because he thinks he can exercise.
No, that's absolutely not true. He's offered you every overture. He said we can reopen it, just do the continuing resolution. We can debate what we would add, what we want to cut, et cetera, for the final budget.
King-like powers. He can open up the parts of the government that he wants. He can pay the employees who are loyal to him. I mean, this is a leader who is trying to...
Oh, so you're saying the troops, I guess, are all loyal to him, which is probably actually true because you guys made the military a walking joke that nobody wanted to be a part of because you made it woke and you caused everything, in recruitment to go down. By the way, this is from Zero Hedge. Rising D.C. uncertainty hits stressed home buyers. Drilling down in the district where 1 in 4 workers has a federal job, the government shutdown appears to be rattling prospective home buyers. We're seeing the impact of uncertainty we've been living with for 6 months. Well, welcome to it. This is what it's been like for the rest of the country for the last 5 years when interest rates tripled and home prices doubled. Welcome to it, D.C. I went for a little tour through a brownstone for sale in Old Town Alexandria over the weekend. $2.4 million. It was a piece of crap. I told the realtor, I said, where do I put my riding lawnmower? She says, well, you don't have a lawn. I said, yeah, but there's something about having a riding lawnmower. Let's take a break and come back. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show is right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 2 on a Monday. It's already the 27th of October. And I'm officially in the fall mood. I did the pumpkin cheesecake yesterday. You know, I like to cook. I don't have anybody to cook for, but I like to cook, so I made a couple of the really, they were the best. Oh my God, haven't I? Brought one to this workplace where I work in a TV and radio studio in an architect's office. Okay, in the other side, across the river from Washington, D.C. And I just enjoy the process of cooking, even though I don't have a family here to cook for right now. But I do it. I enjoy it. Had my first workout as a 60-year-old man over the weekend. That was pretty interesting. It's odd because since I got sober, I've had about 800, maybe 850 workouts. And a few, I didn't think I'd ever do free weights again, and I decided to do free weights again. And I did that about a year ago, and now I'm actually not only much stronger than I was when I was 50, I am much stronger than I was when I was 40. I'm physically the strongest that I've been since I was 30 years old. And my muscle mass is growing. It's crazy. Relief Factor helps. I'm just going to... I started a few months ago this product called Relief Factor, and my hip was bothering me. Oh, my God. No more hurting. No more hurting. I got people at the gym, literally guys are like, watch me when I'm over throwing 50-pound dumbbells in each arm, doing curls, going, who's the old guy doing that over there? It's kind of crazy. It's remarkable. It's kind of fun. But I feel pretty good. I'm doubling down on the weight loss. I only had one little piece of the cheesecake today. But I am, when you move, I moved my entire studio in the back of a U-Haul like some kid moving out of college. And I spent the last year in hell, and all of that. And your diet gets a little out of whack. And so I'm whacking it back into shape here and doing it right. So Zohran Mamdani glad-handed a the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. They tried to take down the World Trade Center. They put explosive in the back of a U-Haul, tried to blow it up. Didn't work. And so, of course, they did it again in 9/11. But Zohran Mamdani glad-handed one of the unindicted co-conspirators of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing, thought he could get away with it. And everybody started talking about the fact that this guy appears to be very, very leaning into radical Islam. Would not say that Hamas needs to lay down its arms, will not condemn the words globalize the intifada, which means wipe Israel from the face of the earth. He's a danger. He's a very dangerous man. Last night they had a big rally in New York City, and they paid a lot of people to go there. People didn't come out just to see Zohran Mamdani. You don't fill a stadium with 15,000 people with people just going to see Zohran Mamdani. Give me a friggin' break. Give me a break. They did this in Colorado a few months ago, tried to convince you that Bernie Sanders and AOC could draw 20,000 people. It was all bought and paid for. All of this cell phone data showed that they had been to other rallies, protests, etc. That's what's going to show up about this rally last night. But Zohran Mamdani now is claiming, because people are criticizing him for siding with radical Islam, he's playing victim. He's bringing up his aunt, who apparently after 9/11 was afraid to go on in the subway wearing her hijab. Now, you may recall, if you're old enough, you may recall after 9/11, George W. Bush, he immediately thought the worst of the American citizens. And he said, I want to figure out why radical Islam hates us. I said, I don't want to figure out why they hate us. I want to bomb the snot out of them. But we never turned against Islam. We never vandalized mosques. There's not a single mosque vandalizing in the damn country. You've been reading about it. But you know what there have been? A whole lot of synagogues attacked. A whole lot of Catholic churches attacked. And here is Zohran Mamdani crying like a little B-word about his auntie being afraid to get on the metro in New York City after the worst terror attack in the history of the world.
I want to use this moment to speak to the Muslims of New York City.
Is he going to cry?
I want to speak to the memory of my aunt.
Yes.
Who stopped taking the subway after September 11th because she did not feel safe in her hijab.
Yeah, you know what? You know who else felt unsafe? Hundreds of millions of people felt unsafe getting onto airplanes for the last 25 years. I got to tell you, of all the things this little piece of crap could do, to claim victim after a good, substantial portion of your faith either didn't say anything about 9/11 or supported it. And she couldn't wear her hijab because she was afraid to go on the metro. How about the fear that has gripped us all since that day when you get on a damned airplane? Yeah. How about that? Honestly, you spoiled little child. You spoiled entitled little child who's never had a damn job. A kid with a summer job at Orange Julius in a mall has more life experience than this jackweed does. But here he is at the rally last night. Listen to all the promises here. Listen to all the promises here. Listen, and every time he says something, you just get a big cha-ching. Listen to this.
Here is what we stand for, my friends. We are going to freeze the rent for more than 2 million rent-stabilized tenants.
What's that going to do to the owners of the properties?
And use every resource at our disposal to build housing for everyone who...
They're going to build public housing like that's never been done.
...needs it. We are going to eliminate the fare on every single bus line.
That's going to make the buses great, I'm sure, by giving away the free bus rides. $700 million a year.
And make what are currently the slowest buses in the nation move around this city with ease.
He's gonna make the buses go faster while you ride on them for free. Yeah.
And we are going to create universal child care at no cost to parents.
Free child care, no problem. Oh, it'll be awesome. Free child care.
So New Yorkers can raise their family in the city they love.
And all you got to do is figure out how to pay for all of that. And every other time those promises have been made by a Democrat or a leftist, they've never followed through. They've never worked. Public housing is always crap. Crap. Public transportation sucks largely, and then when you make it free, it sucks even more. Yeah, I know. We're not stupid. Here's Bill Maher. Bill Maher, of all people, talking about what he's calling Zohran Mamdani's Sister Soldier moment when he claimed to be a victim because his auntie was afraid to get on the subway or after 9/11.
The far left version that did not do too well in recent elections, and then people like the governor who say we got to come back to the middle, common sense. And whenever this discussion comes up, this is what you hear a lot. We need a sister soldier moment, a time when some issue where the Democrat says, look, I'm not with the far left, and this is how you know you can trust me that I'm not. I think I have the issue.
Yeah.
Okay. And it's the mayor's race in New York. I think he seems like a sweet guy, Mamdani.
No.
But
He's got a
I would
nice
just
smile.
like to say, because the election is in a couple of weeks, this is not just New York that's on the ballot.
Yeah.
I think the whole Democratic Party in the country is on the ballot.
Yeah.
And the whole country will be looking at this race to see which way are the Democrats going to go. No, Andrew Cuomo may not be that exciting and that inspirational, but, for a party that said we want to get back to normal, he's kind of normal.
Yeah. Bill Maher says that Mamdani is trouble with a capital T. Here he is talking about race baiting and terror in New York City.
Issue now that Andrew Cuomo is bringing up in New York is that he is a Ugandan citizen. Uganda is a country where they kill homosexuals.
Yeah.
So somebody who is a dual citizen can't be mayor of New York, or
I would renounce, if I was the dual citizen with a country whose policy, government policy, was we kill homosexuals. Yeah, I would renounce that citizenship.
Yeah,
I don't, and to not to, and he also.
I think that is buying into a fear framework that is not
fear
good.
of killing homosexuals.
No, he glad-handed a friggin' co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombings.
Not good for the country. It's not good for the country.
You shouldn't.
You know what's not good for the country? People like him.
Be afraid
and
of that.
I think the way that Cuomo is closing out this race and really race baiting and really leaning
race baiting.
in.
It's all race baiting.
I understand, but just because something is done by people in Africa doesn't mean it's always okay.
Yeah.
Well, and
but you said race baiting. It has nothing to do with race.
Yes. Oh, I'm talking about what Cuomo's doing, suggesting that Mamdani couldn't be a leader in a terror situation.
Yeah, he couldn't.
And if he were mayor of New York and, God forbid, something else like 9/11
Well, he did
happened,
campaign with a terrorist.
He did say, well, but Cuomo was pretty clear, I thought, in the way he talked about that, in a way that I thought was ugly.
Well, he campaigned this week with a guy who was an unindicted co-conspirator in the 1993 World Trade Center bombing and served as a character witness for Omar Abdel Rahman, the terrorist who organized it. So Sarah Palin used to say Obama palled around the terrorists, which was bullshit. But...
Yeah, exactly, 100%. Here's Victor Davis Hanson talking to Rob Finnerty on Newsmax about what would happen if there's a terrorist attack and Zohran Mamdani's the mayor.
But what happens if there's a terrorist attack and it's a radical Islamic extremist and this guy is mayor?
Yeah, well...
Looks a little different versus Rudy Giuliani being mayor, doesn't it?
Yes, and the corollary is if you're thinking that, and a lot of people are thinking that, there's also a lot of extremists who are thinking that too. And that there might be less enforcement or less vigilance than there otherwise would be.
Yeah, because this is what radical Islam does. This guy can't become the mayor. There you go. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
It sucks to be you, you Democrats, you. Inflation is down, Schumer's a clown, he'll get his due. No Kings was a flop, but you will not stop. I'll bring the world peace, more wars I will cease, we'll come out on top. Drug boats we took out, we ended all doubt. The border is closed, Letitia is hosed, while Democrats pout. The new ballroom will be complete, while Democrats will suffer defeat. It sucks to be you, miserable you. It sucks to be you.
Now a new NBC News poll shows the Democratic Party has reached an all-time low in popularity.
Why and all you want about the National Guard and Antifa pals we will bombard. It sucks to be you. You know that it's true. It sucks to be you.
With talent on loan from God, and have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
You know, I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all four corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place, because Rush was the sunshine of our life, of our life, of our life.
Meeting and surpassing all audience expectations every day behind this, the Golden EIB microphone.
It's hard to know. It depends on how much he wins by and how careful he is to reveal himself. But right now we're in a race because he's spoken so often in this socialist, communist, radical Islamic fashion, but it's always been to selective audiences. He never gets out on the stump and says that. So, and he has a media shield that has given him immunity. It's just a question now how much information can get out from all of these sources, and reporters can track it down like you're doing and get it out, because there's a wall around him of the left-wing media, and he's very selective.
Talking about Zohran Mamdani,
where he reveals his true intentions and nature. So we don't really know what he's doing. But once I would imagine if he gets elected by more than 10 points, then he will be confident and he will try to spread this creed. And I think that the people who are the most scared right now is the old guard of the Democratic Party, because I think the Schumers and Pelosi's, even Bernie Sanders and the people who had to endorse him, because he's going to do away with all those people.
Yeah, that's Zohran Mamdani. It is, you should be worried. And if you're Jewish and vote for Zohran Mamdani, you're an idiot. You're a complete moron. Complete and utter moron. I'm still not giving up hope. Not giving up hope. Here is listen to this. This is crazy. So the Democrat Party, the ones who've been burning Tesla dealerships, pitching a fit, wearing inflatable costumes to No Kings rallies, acting like complete idiots, attacking ICE. All of this insanity. AOC says the Democrat Party, they're not the crazy ones.
But we must remember, in a time such as this, we are not the crazy ones, New York City.
Yeah, just because we think that girls can become boys and boys can become girls and boys should become girls to compete in girls' sports, we're not crazy. No.
We are not the outlandish ones, New York City.
Yeah.
They want us to think we are crazy. We are sane.
Wow, if you're sane, if you're sane, what the hell? Who's Charlie Manson, for God's sake? Here is Kathy Hochul in her big speech. Now, Kathy Hochul, like a typical idiot, endorsed Zohran Mamdani, and Mamdani did not endorse her back, because this is what radical Islam does, particularly with women.
This is about this November's election, but take that energy, that passion, and take it into 26 so that we can take back the House of Representatives, take the Senate, and take back our country.
Take it back to what?
With your help, we will. Elect Zohran, and we take back America. Thank you, Queens. Thank you, New York. I love you guys.
Wow, how utterly tone deaf and Karen-esque of her. Very Karen-esque of her. Here is now listen. This is AOC, who just said we're not the crazy ones, speaking like a complete loon.
This city was built by the Irish escaping famine, Italians fleeing fascism, Jews escaping Holocaust, Black Americans fleeing slavery and Jim Crow, Latinos seeking a better life, Native people standing for themselves, Asian Americans coming together in Queens.
Oh my God, I wish I had knitting needles right now so I could stab my eardrums out.
In Brooklyn, in the Bronx, in Manhattan, in Staten Island.
Yeah, we're not the crazy ones. Dear God. You're out of your nut. Oh, here's Zohran Mamdani's daddy. Dissing on America.
America is the genesis of what we call settler colonialism. And the American model was exported all around the world.
Yeah.
Abraham Lincoln generalized the solution of reservations. They herded American Indians into separate territories.
And socialists herded people into death camps and body pits last century.
For the Nazis, this was the inspiration. Hitler realized two things. One...
Yeah, okay, your dad's nuts too. There you go. I think we need to do this because, you know, it is October. And not only is Zohran Mamdani nuts, so's his dad. Yeah, so's his dad. And his followers. And you, if you vote for him.
He's a full-fledged commie, a wealthy dad and mommy. He's worse than a tsunami. Mamdani's a real threat. He's anti-Semitic. It really is pathetic. He's not sympathetic. Mamdani's a real threat. Experience he's lacking.
Yeah.
Hamas he's always backing.
He is.
His party he's hijacking. Mamdani is a threat.
Clap, clap.
Does not know what he's doing, but he looks like a shoo-in. New York will be in ruin if Mamdani wins.
There you go. You know, this is a column from Zero Hedge by Owning Gold and Silver. Why it is more critical now than ever. Global financial markets are undergoing a profound transformation. And by the way, this creates an urgent need for tangible assets that exist entirely outside of digital oversights. What is he talking about? He's talking about gold and silver. He's talking about something you can own. There's nothing digital about gold. It's right there. There's nothing digital about silver. I've got a silver coin that you can get right now if you invest with Birch Gold right now. Due to overwhelming demand for silver from the Birch Gold Group, they've extended their promotion through Veterans Day. You buy gold, get free silver. For every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold by Veterans Day, Birch Gold will send you a free 1-ounce patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. There it is right there. If you're streaming it, you can see it. It's beautiful. Gold is up 60%. 60%. Here's what they're saying about, back to this article I was reading here. They were talking about silver. Silver, they're saying, technical patterns suggest silver could surge to $85 to $150 an ounce. Unbelievable. Gold has gone up 60%. Maybe it's time to convert that existing IRA or 401k into gold. Maybe throw some silver in too. It's very easy. All you got to do is text my name, Rob, to 989898. Rob to 989898 for a free info kit to claim your eligibility for free silver with purchase before November the 11th. Again, text my name, Rob, to 989898. That's 989898. Curtis Lewa was asked this weekend about who's worse, Mamdani or Cuomo.
No, they're both the same. It's the Democratic Party. They let the socialists in. The socialists now control, from Bernie Sanders, who's never been a Democrat, to AOC, to now Zohran Mamdani. No, we need to battle over principles. Remember, in 1993...
Yeah, we do. And this is a metaphor for the Democrat Party. And if he wins, the Democrat Party is going to continue its death spiral into hell. Or we can reject it. Coming up on the other side of the break, we have got the great Blaine Holt, retired Brigadier General, to talk about Trump and Ukraine and Russia and all of that stuff. We'll continue in a moment. This is the Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson, not proud member of the 4 a.m. club. You know what that is? Well, that's the time that I usually wake up every night and can't get back to sleep. Then I found Beam's Dream Powder. Now, Beam's Dream Powder is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients, including reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. It's designed to help you fall asleep, stay asleep, and wake up feeling amazing. And unlike other sleep aids, there's no next day grogginess, just great restful sleep. Plus, Dream tastes incredible, and it's become a part of my nightly routine. Simple, easy, effective. Dream is made right here in America, supporting jobs, quality, and the principles we stand for in America. Thank you very much. Beam is going to give my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount, up to 40%. Try their best-selling Dream Powder. Get up to 40% off for a limited time. So with my discount code Newsmax, you can get their best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. Go to shopbeam.com/Newsmax. That's shopbeam.com/Newsmax. Again, use the code Newsmax at checkout. That's beam.com/Newsmax and use code word Newsmax for up to 40% off.
Street protesters, we've had our fill, but Randy Fine has a bill, says move them on over, run them all over, run over protesters blocking all our roads. The Thump Thump bill is what it's called. I'm sure the left will be appalled, but move them on over. Run them all over. Step on the gas if they won't step aside. Sure, it might leave a dent, but make them a hood ornament. Run them all over. Thump them all over. If they block our streets, they'll get what they deserve.
Town of Portland, I said in the guard, Antifa, they are gonna hit you hard. The Democrat mayor's getting in my way. Go ahead, punks, and make my day. F around and find out. F around and find out. Schumer's gonna find out. I mean business and I'll get my way. Pencil Neck and Chris Ray, for your crimes you will pay. You have both been found out. Hope you get a lengthy prison stay. Listen up, Hamas, I am warning you. Break the ceasefire and you'll be through. Democrats, hang your head in shame. For the shutdown, you're gonna get the blame. F around and find out. Mess around and find out. F around and find out. In the end, I'm gonna win the day. Find out.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store, hot pockets from the Dollar General, chicken wings expired yesterday.
Administration insists these strikes are consistent with international law. Do you agree with that?
No, it's murder.
It's very simple. If this president feels that they're doing something illegally, then he should be using the Coast Guard. If this is an act of war, then you use our military, and then you come and talk to us first. But this is murder. It's sanctioned murder that he is doing that. And it's very simple for someone like him to talk about killing people or doing something in the name of war. He's never actually served. He's never actually pulled a trigger. It's very dangerous what he's doing, both to our international relations, to our friends down in South America, and to these men and women that have to make these calls.
That is Ruben Gallego being a whiny little B-word about the killing of these bastards who were, sending these drug boats. They've been able to run roughshod around the Caribbean and deliver loads and loads of things like fentanyl into the United States, which has killed hundreds of thousands of people. The Democrat Party said nothing about it. Donald Trump has given them a little what for. And here's the Democrats, how they typically do. Well, we could send in the Coast Guard, and we could send, maybe bring a fruit basket. We could bring one of those little edible bouquets, and we could say, hey, please don't bring fentanyl into America again, and be like, okay, my bad, and all. Honestly, seriously. Joining us to talk about this and so much more, Blaine Holt, Brigadier General, U.S. Air Force, former C-17 commander, American badass, and also, by the way, has a nationally, a syndicated, I'd say podcast, Dangerous Intellectuals. And he joins us on the Newsmax hotline. How are you doing, brother?
I am doing great. I'm thinking about a market for Trump pacifiers for some of these clowns in Congress who want to, I think they'd sell really well, and then they'd all know what side of the aisle they're on.
They need a Trump binky because, they need to curl up in the fetal position because every time he tries to do something, whether it's building a glorious ballroom or wiping terrorist drug cartels off the face of the planet, they just can't stand it, honestly. What's your take on this? Because these guys, honestly, they're working in concert with the Venezuelan government. The Venezuelan government is really as illegitimate as possible, not only as for their election because they stole it, but also just as governance. They are a criminal cartel. The entire government is. So what's the problem?
Well, they're being very honest because they, across all these policy lines these last couple of months, they have shown that they prefer illegal migrants and attacks on American citizens. And what I mean by that is shut down the government because they can't get $1.5 trillion in extra health care money for illegal aliens. And then they want to support those and call those countries friends that ended the lives of 70,000 Americans every year for the past 5 to 6 years. And so what they've done effectively is said, we hate America, we hate American citizens, and we're really appalled when President Trump wants to put on his commander-in-chief hat and protect Americans. It's just ridiculous. But at least the truth is out. I just wish most Americans could understand what it is they're exactly saying.
I believe we've done this, Carter, with Noriega, right? We've done this before. Mm-hmm. We know that Barack Obama dropped 26,000 missiles on terrorist targets in various countries for years, and now the Democrat Party is complaining that something this obvious, and let me ask you this, because they're acting like, oh yeah, it's like we just see a boat going fast, we blow it out of the water. Tell me the kind of intel. Tell me the kind of intel that goes into taking out a target like this, General.
Yeah, so when we target something, there's a whole kill chain, and the kill chain involves lawyers and targeting lawyers and those types of things, and space assets and intel, signatures of the boats. They are packing a lot of information before they go after a target like that. And then even if you just sent the Coast Guard answer is going to be the same way. You think that our Coast Guard's not lethal and mean and got a dagger in their mouths? They absolutely do. It's just that we have a presentation of forces. We put some ships in Trinidad and Tobago to assure our allies. And I don't see any 130,000 soldier force about to mount up and occupy Venezuela for 20 meaningless years. I don't see that happening. I see us pulling on a cartel string that actually attaches to every bad guy in the world, including those that are bought off, paid off, bribed, extorted in Washington, D.C., and maybe that's the issue.
What about sending the Gerald Ford down there? There's no greater telescoping of military might than a U.S. aircraft carrier, if I'm not mistaken.
You're exactly right. It's a big stick. But then, listen, you got to be careful because on the beaches of Venezuela, I saw some imagery of some of their air defenses. I saw what we call a Zu-23, which is kind of like a souped-up shotgun. I saw a little missile launcher that couldn't hold on to its camouflage. It looked like it needed some oil, and so
and some guys with wrist rockets, like when we were kids. Some guys with wrist rockets and rocks.
Listen, Rob, I'm going to tell you, I saw a Super Soaker. It was a Super Soaker 8000.
This is a story from 60 Minutes last night about how Venezuela is freaking the heck out, and they should.
The weight of uncertainty and the rumble of armored vehicles can be felt throughout the country. An estimated 125,000 members of Venezuela's military have mobilized. While we were there, the government was holding emergency drills and urging civilians to prepare for combat. It's all a bit of theater and a response to this. Since September, the U.S. military has blown up at least 10 vessels, killing more than 36 alleged drug smugglers, most of them off the coast of Venezuela.
Now, the Venezuelan people who, by the way, voted for the opposition candidate, had the election stolen, and they are supposedly going to mount some sort of defense against the United States military. How long would it take for the United States military to put down and I don't even think we'd need to. I think it would absolutely disintegrate in seconds if the United States decided to do something more than they're already doing with the drug boats.
Let's see. During shock and awe, Baghdad fell in 24 hours?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I would say they would have 15 minutes. That's what I'd kind of gauge that on. However, now let's be serious. There is a threat. That threat has come across our border for the last 4 years, and it's in the form of Tren de Aragua, Hezbollah, the cartels who are getting their backs against a corner.
Yeah.
And so I would urge all Americans very seriously, take your own security serious. Don't you think for 5 seconds that a desperate Venezuela, Colombia aren't going to activate things here, and that activation goes all the way through Tehran and beyond.
That's interesting. Well, obviously they flooded our country with gang members, also emptied their prisons out into our country. And while we've made a major dent in removing people and people removing themselves, they are still a very imminent threat in the United States of America. And you think that a desperate Venezuela would essentially give them marching orders to do whatever they had to in America?
I'll advance this. I think they do it with their friends Iran and China as well. Wow. They're all in this, and they all have a vesture in the cartels. And so we shouldn't be naive about who is here and amongst us. We're outnumbered. That means communities have to pull together. Our military will do its job abroad. There's no question about that. But we have to take our own security serious. So when I hear people going, "Oh, I don't want the National Guard here," it's like, you know what? Just a simple thank you will do.
Yeah.
And then go respect that soldier and go buy him a milkshake or something because they're here to serve.
Absolutely. I was in Union Station a couple weeks ago. You can eat off the floor now. It is remarkable. I've been in Washington, D.C. 4 months, and you can go anywhere in Washington, D.C. without fear of anything. The streets are busy with people. It's amazing. I want to continue with the other side about what's going on with Russia, Ukraine. Among other things, Russia moving some missiles, maybe flexing some muscle. What do you think is going to happen there? Brigadier General Blaine Holt on the Newsmax hotline will come back after this on the Rob Carson Show.
but I know what President Bush 41 did. He took down Ortega, the leader of Panama, because he was involved in drug trafficking, threatening our country. Venezuela is now partnering with Hezbollah. Hezbollah is running out of money because Iran is weak.
That's not new.
Partnering with drug cartels in Venezuela. No, it should have stopped. Here's what's new. You got a commander-in-chief that's not going to put up with this crap.
Yeah.
We're not going to sit on the sidelines and watch boats full of drugs come to our country. We're going to blow them up and kill the people that want to poison America.
Yay.
And we're now going to expand operations, I think, to the land. So please be clear about what I'm saying today. President Donald Trump sees Venezuela and Colombia as direct threats to our country because they house narco-terrorist organizations. The leader of Venezuela is an indicted drug dealer in American courts. So, yeah, the game is changing when it comes to drug traffickers and drug cartels. We're going to use military force like we have in the past to protect our country. That's the new game we're playing, and I'm glad we're playing that game. And if I were Maduro, I'd find a way to leave before he goes down.
That is Lindsey Graham talking about taking Maduro out. I think that Maduro is not long for Venezuela, and you know what? I ain't got a damn problem with it. We cannot play the same old crap that the United States has done for years. Look what it's gotten us. Hundreds of thousands of people dead from fentanyl. A country filled with illegals from places like Venezuela. Enough is enough. John Wayne is back. Okay, the Earp brothers are in Tombstone, and the bad guys are getting their asses handed to them. Too bad, boo, friggity who. That's what I got to say about it, Blaine Holt. What about you?
I say the exact same thing. you have had clear and present danger to this country through this, and it's only gotten worse. But it actually goes through everything. If you're going to look at a big giant bad guy in this world, its arteries and veins are all cartel.
Yep.
And they put these guys. So when we get after the cartels, you're making Beijing nervous. You're making the World Economic Forum nervous. You're making money launderers and bankers that call themselves honest businessmen nervous. You're making politicians nervous. So it's laughable to me to listen to somebody from the mainstream media openly. And you know me, I'm not a huge Lindsey Graham fan because I'm not a neocon. But what I'll tell you is they're defending the drug dealers. They're defending the fentanyl merchants.
Yep.
And it's just laughable that they would do that in an American journalist. Where's the journalistic integrity on that? No, we're trying to give the bad guys a fair shot here. What's wrong with you, Lindsey?
Yeah, you know, enough is enough. We live in a cruel world. It's time to treat people who would treat us cruelly in a cruel fashion. That's it. That's all. There's a time to kick some butt, take some names, and there's a time to not. And now is the time to do it. I want to mention something real quick here because we're kind of focusing on South and Central America. Lindsey, or I should say, Tulsi Gabbard talked about the arrest of a cartel baby trafficker with the Jalisco New Generation cartel. This person is accused of leading a criminal network where they would lure in pregnant women, remove the babies from their wombs, and sell mom's organs. Listen.
Insidious was providing intelligence to the Mexican law enforcement that led to the arrest of a CJNG cartel-affiliated baby trafficker called La Diabla. Her whole money-making operation was centered around luring pregnant women, performing illegal C-sections, harvesting organs, and selling newborn babies. Mr. President, it's your leadership that has made all of...
Oh, now let's send in the Coast Guard. What do you think about that, General? Let's send in the Coast Guard. You just got to figure out what's going to give them a little note, write them a warning ticket, for God's sake. These are animals. They need to be put down.
Yeah, and what makes it worse is during the Obama administration, and I know this firsthand, or the Biden administration, if stories like this in the intel community would surface, they would smash them down right away because they wouldn't want the level of depravity of our enemy getting out there so that they could play fancy with it and play fancy politics. So all Tulsi's doing is saying, hey, let's have the truth see the light of day. I just think she's an amazing leader, and she's really coming into her own in being very bold. But Americans need to understand that's exactly who these people are. They will kidnap you. They will cut your fingers off. They will mail them to your family members. That's who you're dealing with. Yeah. And that our government is going to start telling the truth about these things, it's required. Because otherwise you might be lured into some of this nonsense from the mainstream media where they say, oh, well, we unfairly went after Maduro and his murderers. That's ridiculous.
Yep.
This is a nasty, nasty world, and that's exactly what they do.
Got to wipe them out. You do this podcast, which is called Dangerous Intellectuals. I had a couple articles. When I get to the point where we're doing long-form video podcasts, and we're going to here in Washington, D.C., I want to cover some of these. Listen to this story here. Have you heard about this Manhattan-sized space object, 31 Atlas, that is approaching Earth and slowing down, just like the aliens at Independence Day?
How convenient. Isn't it amazing? We're going through all this stuff in the world. We're looking at financial collapse, another pandemic. They want to give you digital ID, a shot. China's on the rise. And all of a sudden, E.T. is going to come fry us. And that's why on Dangerous Intellectuals, I interviewed Dr. Stephen Greer, and he separates the good, the bad, and the ugly. Here's the real stuff. This is the government manipulation.
Yes.
Or the deep state manipulation, rather, and here's just absolute real stuff. And what he gets at with 3i Atlas is, you're going to see a lot of things in the paper, but your best effort is to just do nothing.
Exactly.
And honestly, let's say you had something the size of Manhattan hurtling towards Earth, and they have a hostile intent. What's your action plan? It's do nothing. Grab a bottle of bourbon and have a sip. I mean, you're at that place.
Yeah.
So, and if they're friendly, well, then we'll work it out.
No, you call Will Smith and have him go to El Toro. You get Will.
They want you marinated in fear, brother.
Yes.
They want you marinated in fear.
That's fascinating. That's a fascinating take. That's why I think your podcast sounds pretty cool. Where can people hear it, bro?
Well, come right to me at x.com @dangerthinking. Or you can come right to the website, and it'll give you the link to every podcast platform. That'll be dangerousintellectuals.com. Sure would appreciate the shares because we're not marketing yet. It's just early days, but I love that the response that we're getting, and it's wonderful.
Good deal, brother. All right, talk to you soon. I appreciate you.
Thank you. Appreciate you back.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show. All right, let's talk to everybody here. Over on Rumble, Red Dogs, I don't have anyone to cook for either. I went to culinary school and I love to cook, and no family either. I cook for the church I love. There you go. That's what I did this weekend. I cooked for the people here at the office because I just like to cook. I like to cook. Let's see. Scarecrow. Obamaroid Ointment is back on. Hi, Obamaroid. What's going on? Obama is a pain in the ass. I understand that. Let's see who's watching over. Wow, 86 new comments on Facebook. My God. Brian Duffy, Beth Hill, hello. Vicky Stevens, Carol Rose. I try to respond when I can, but I get so bloody busy on this show. It's very hard for me to respond on the social media. So I take this break once an hour. Yeah, Del Toro Bound. That's triple I cubed. Good to see you on YouTube. Yeah, call in Will Smith, Del Toro. I've seen that movie. How many times have you seen Independence Day? How many times have you seen it? Yeah. You know what I watched again last night? I watched The Equalizer, the first Equalizer, again. Now I've seen it like 20 times. First one's the best. I'd say first, then second, then third, although third's really good. And then I watched Nobody, which is a movie very much like those movies last Thursday. I love those movies. I love it when the good guys kick some butt, don't you? Love it, love it, love it. Who's watching on the Rumbly Roo? Beck Ottenberry. I already said hi to you guys. Sorry about that. And over on the YouTube, Deplorable Dinosaur. Hello, Kimberly Wiederholt is back. Hello, Kimberly Wiederholt. Good to see you. All of you guys, I appreciate you. I hope you look forward to the show on Monday as much as I do doing the show, because I really love it, in case you didn't know.
Can I have 320?
So the Democrats really want to keep their illegal aliens here. Isn't it amazing we can say the words illegal aliens again? Remember that? Brandon Johnson in Chicago, he's trying to convince you that pushing illegal aliens out of our country who've gotten a lot of free stuff from Democrats, because Democrats want to hold on to their seeds of power in America's inner cities, pushing out, obviously, people who are from here, people who are already suffering, and all of that. But Brandon Johnson, he says that when you use the word illegal aliens, it's like using the word slaves.
We don't have illegal aliens. I don't know if that's from some sort of sci-fi message that you wish have had. Well, listen, the legal term for my people were slaves. You want me to use that term too?
Yeah, illegal aliens aren't slaves. Only the children who were trafficked that the Democrat Party allowed to traffic for sex slavery in America.
So look, let's just get the language right. We're talking about undocumented individuals that are human beings. The last thing that I'm going to do is accept the type of racist, nasty language to describe human beings. Wow. And so as far as our spending...
Yeah, you know, I'm going to have to respond by playing this.
I don't trust anybody, least not around here, 'cause it's no fun being an illegal alien. It's no fun being an illegal alien.
Yeah, I'm playing it.
It's no fun
being an illegal alien. Yeah, that's a song that the Democrat Party banned from ever being played again in the mustache, which featured Phil Collins wearing a big mustache and a sombrero like they did to Hakeem Jeffries. You know, I can do that because free speech is back. You can offend people. Gutfeld has a really good comment on this on the other side of the break at the top of the hour. The State Department has officially canceled the Global Engagement Center as part of President Donald Trump's mission to shut down the censorship industrial complex, which ran roughshod over our country for a while. And I experienced it, you experienced it, and offensive speech is back. And it's okay. It's okay because you don't want to be told what you can say. You don't want to be told that your opinion is disinformation and misinformation because that's what they did in the Soviet Union, and that's what they did to us. But after the top of the hour, I'm going to share some details on this. Gutfeld's brilliant monologue on this, and AOC saying that, no, we need guardrails. We need people to come in and say what is acceptable and what is unacceptable as far as speech is concerned. Then on the other side of the hour, psychotherapist explains why the No Kings rallies consisted of mostly educated white liberal women. Why is that? We've got that on the other side. I was right. It's Karen. Karen has been around for a very long time. This midterm election is about defeating Karen. All right, last hour of the show is right ahead. If I were you, I wouldn't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
Hold it now.
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show, hour number 3 on a Monday. Welcome to all of you listening on terrestrial radio, on radio stations all over the country, including a cluster of glorious stations, Benny Media in New Hampshire. We've got people listening all over the country. WGMD, Rehoboth, Delmarva, and whatnot. WCBM, of course, in glorious Balmer. The Ravens came to life this weekend, played a pretty good game. Not the best game, but, pretty good game. There was a lot of good football yesterday, a lot of bad football yesterday. The Jets actually won yesterday. Oof, embarrassing. And I'm still not going to watch the halftime for the Super Bowl. I'll watch some football on a Sunday when I'm making pumpkin cheesecake, but I'm not going to watch that stupid halftime show at the Super Bowl. So much going on. The French officials arrested multiple suspects in the Louvre crown jewel heist. Thieves stole $100 million in jewels from the Louvre Museum. Multiple suspects been arrested in connection with the theft of crown jewels from the Louvre Museum. Thieves took less than 8 minutes to steal jewels valued at 88 million euros. They didn't touch the toothpaste that had been locked up in the toiletries that they kept there, like in New York City. That's what you got to do. You got to treat them like the crown jewels. Apparently there was a terrible failure in the museum's security system. That somebody, no kid, really, you think? Thieves slipped away with a total of 8 objects, including a sapphire necklace, single earring set from blah, 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 blah. One piece had 1,300 diamonds in it. They say they're damaged, but recoverable. Honestly, it's like, who would steal the Mona Lisa? What are you going to do? You going to sell the Mona Lisa on eBay? Really? You think you're going to get away with it? Wow. Okay, sure. James Carville's been wrong about everything for about 40 years now. I used to, make fun of James Carville when he worked with the Clintons. At least Bill Clinton was kind of brought the country a little to the middle after his wife tried to pull it left. And then James Carville ever since has been kind of a dim-wit about everything. He wrote a book saying how Democrats would be in power for 40 years and then Barack Obama lost both houses of Congress in the midterm immediately following the book. And he's gotten bat guano crazy. Here he is, and this is the Democrat Party is very, very unhinged right now. They are very, very desperate right now. They cannot win an election. And they also cannot rig an election anymore. We've got all sorts of things going on right now with regard to the coming elections. Harmeet Dillon is sending out election monitors to make sure that they are fair. Harmeet Dillon, the California attorney who heads the Civil Rights Division of the U.S. Department of Justice, is sending out election monitors to California twice during the Biden administration, and they're going to do it again. I think I've got to, let me see if I can find Harmeet Dillon talking about that. Because the Democrat Party has been able to rig elections, have been able to gerrymander, all do these things, and they're not going to be able to do that much longer. They're not going to be able to do it any longer, actually, and they're going to have to win on issues. And they can't win on issues because they're insane. And consequently, they're desperate. Like I said, they are like movie vampires, trying to drag us into hell with them. Here's the story. The Department of Justice announced Friday it will send election monitors to polling locations across California and New Jersey for the upcoming November the 4th general election, citing efforts to ensure transparency and compliance with the federal voting laws. Donald Trump is also saying no more mail-in ballots because they're a giant scam. They're a giant scam. According to a Justice Department press release, monitors from the Civil Rights Division will be present in 6 jurisdictions: Passaic County, New Jersey, California's Kern, Riverside, Fresno, Orange, and Los Angeles counties. And Attorney General Bondi said the initiative is meant to uphold the highest standards of election integrity. Yeah, and it's about damn time. So there you go. Here is James Carville, though. This is how desperate the Democrats are. They're doing these idiotic No Kings protests, all of this, caterwauling, yelling, screeching. And they are willing to do anything right now to regain some foothold on power. And the more they're realizing that it is not within their grasp, the nuttier they are becoming.
You understand? He hates the United States. He hates the Republican Party. He hates any kind of system that we have here, any kind of rules, and they're going to, I hate to be like this, being an old man, but I'm telling you, we at a really dangerous point in the United States. And
I know, because we got a closed border and everything's secure and got $20 trillion of new economic activity, and inflation is under control, and Donald Trump has negotiated now eight peace deals around the world, including peace in the Middle East.
That from the bottom of my heart, and a lot of other people I know that are really smart, historians, people that know this, totally agree with me. It's bad. It
is not bad. Every metric of quality of life is amazing. Everything when Joe Biden was the president was crap.
I think there's no question about it, and
I think there's a lot of questions about it. I think you're making it up, Jen Sucker.
This very difficult line between not wanting people to feel scared and wanting to be direct about what.
No, you are trying to get people to be scared. That's why they've gone these idiotic rallies, the No Kings, the Elon Musk is a Nazi, Donald Trump is a Nazi, Donald Trump is Hitler. Of course you want to stoke fear. That's why your soldiers are acting on your marching orders. They're acting on your marching orders when you call Donald Trump a Nazi or fascist. Your words are showing up on shell casings with a bullet that was used to kill Charlie Kirk, among other things. It's showing up in manifestos. Of course you're trying to do it. You're desperate. Here is Rob Schmidt doing a brilliant job on Newsmax. Rob Schmidt is awesome. Rob Schmidt says basically Democrats will burn the country down if they have to get power.
The extent of the desperation right now is unbelievable. Take a listen to the head of the DNC, Ken Martin, telling Americans the country is on the brink of tyranny, ready to start basically a civil war if it'll give.
They're ready to start a civil war.
Give him a better shot at getting power back for his party.
For God's sake, if we don't win in 2026 and we give this
and you're not going to
guy 4 years of unimpeded power, we're all screwed. If we reach that break the glass moment when all of our democratic institutions have failed us, right, and we are truly in a dictatorship and an authoritarian regime here has completely shredded the Constitution, then party doesn't matter, and then elections don't matter, and then the resistance looks completely different.
It's the kind of rhetoric you hear in the bowels of MSNBC, which is a filthy network anyway.
It is.
But the real bottom feeder shows that get no ratings, that's the kind of stuff you hear. I mean, it sounds like a psychotic left-wing podcast. They'll say anything, and that's the point. They don't actually care about the country unless they can run it. That's what we've learned.
Yeah, absolutely, 100%. Here's Scott Jennings. He's talking about it. Hear about this Maine candidate. He's running for Senate, Maine Senate candidate Graham Plattner, and he has a Nazi tattoos on his chest. One of these skulls that was used by the Nazis. He's a radical, by the way. He is down with Antifa and the whole deal, and he's a very dangerous person. He had the skull and crossbones on his chest tattooed over, which is an overt Nazi tattoo. And the Democrat Party is just like with Jay Jones running for lieutenant governor, who said he was fantasizing about murdering a political opponent and his children. They're not willing to pull their support because they will do anything to win. The Democrat Party will support anyone to win. Okay, Zohran Mamdani can literally hug a World Trade Center 1993 bombing unindicted co-conspirator. Hug him. Will not say to Hamas, lay down your arms. Will not stop saying globalize the intifada. We know he's a radical Islamist, but the Democrats don't care. They just want to win. They just want to win.
But at this point, if he moves forward, Democrats aren't winning the seat.
I hate to break the news to you, but he's winning the primary by 30 points.
Well, I think that's why he needs to get out.
Getting a Nazi tattoo made him more popular.
I don't think it made him more popular
among Democrats.
Wow.
You've got a guy running for attorney general in Virginia who wants to murder Republicans, and he raised $500,000 off of it. You got Nazi tattoo guy in Maine. I sat out here for a year, 2 years, listening to every Democrat at this table say, Donald Trump's a Nazi, Elon's a Nazi, and your party is now in love with a guy with a Nazi tattoo who trained a left-wing paramilitary group and called himself an Antifa super soldier on the internet, and he's going up every day. Good luck getting him out.
Your president.
Good luck getting him out.
The person that you nominated.
Good luck
pardoned 1,600 insurrectionists.
Yeah, they weren't insurrectionists at all. They were the January 6th prisoners. It was an inside job. 270 FBI agents were in there, and they let people into the Capitol, and then they entrapped them. So honestly, shut up. Joe Biden pardoned murderers, drug dealers, released hundreds of thousands of illegals into our country, many of them rapists, murderers, and drug dealers. Honestly, you're so intellectually and morally bankrupt and broken right now, you don't even matter anymore. You're a danger to America. Dear Lord. Here is that Graham Plattner talking about an innocent Nazi tattoo. He was drunk.
Okay. I can't quite tell, but yeah. Well, actually, maybe. Yeah. It still has its like healing thing on it. I hate anti-Semitism.
Sure you do.
I hate Nazism.
Well, I mean, who hasn't been drunk and put a Nazi tattoo on their chest, something that lasts forever?
And Nazis. They're going to call me a communist no matter what.
It's because you are one.
They called Hillary Clinton a communist.
Yeah.
They call anyone who ever advocates for...
She did an internship for a communist, by the way.
Any sort of beneficial programs for working people, a communist or a socialist.
I am not overly impressed by a squad of media running around saying, what do you think about the tattoo on Graham Plattner's chest? He went into a dark period in his life.
Yeah, who hasn't tattooed a Third Reich tattoo on their chest when they were in a bad time in your life? I mean, think about all you guys, with PTSD from Afghanistan. You did that, didn't you? No, you didn't. Of course you didn't. Dear God, are you out of your mind? This is the kind of self-loathing that is going to get a lot of people like Bernie Sanders in a lot of trouble. And this is the kind of stuff that makes people gloss over who people like Zohran Mamdani really are. A real danger. A real danger. But the Democrats don't care because all they do is want to win. They don't care. They don't care. And when people like that get into office, we've seen what happened in the past. When they did the same thing with Joseph Stalin. They did the same thing with Mao Zedong. The same thing, rinse, lather, repeat, socialism. Let's take a break and come back. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Are you...
I do think that several members of Congress in some of my discussions have brought up media literacy, because that is a part of what happened here. And we're going to have to figure out how we rein in our media environment so that you can't just spew disinformation and misinformation. It's one thing to have differing opinions, but it's another thing entirely to just say things that are false.
She's a little Marxist. You try that again, girlfriend. You try that disinformation bullcrap again, and you're going to have some serious bleep on your face. I swear to God. If we ever go back to that again, there will be hell to pay. The State Department has officially canceled the Global Engagement Center, part of President Donald Trump's mission to shut down the censorship industrial complex. This was the most obscene thing that ever happened in the United States of America. I witnessed it firsthand. You witnessed it firsthand, where they censored our opinions about everything. We couldn't say anything about Joe Biden's dementia. We couldn't say anything about Hunter Biden's laptop. We couldn't say anything about the southern border. Couldn't say anything about the election of 2020, which was not free and fair. It was rigged. Couldn't say anything about January the 6th. Couldn't say anything about COVID. What a bunch of Soviet Stalinistic crap. You know my opinion about it. You knew I was right from the very beginning when I said, oh yeah, Stalin came up with the expression disinformation in 1923. Oh, don't you ever try that again. You will have such... Paul Sperry, senior investigative reporter for Real Clear Investigations, wrote, the State Department officially closed the Global Engagement Center. Today, it's my pleasure to announce the State Department is taking a crucial step toward keeping the president's promise to liberate American speech by abolishing forever the body formerly known as the Global Engagement Center. The Global Engagement Center, shut down went after Newsmax. Yeah, American taxpayer dollars for the paid for the Global Disinformation Index, which ranked news outlets on the likeliness that they would spread disinformation. Newsmax was on the list. The Federalist was on the list. New York Post not on the list. The ones who were not on the list, of course, Huffington Post and ProPublica. In April, an April poll found that Americans are losing their appetite for censorship of alleged false information because we have the First Amendment. Greg Gutfeld did a brilliant job on his show. I believe this was on Friday, because free speech is back, and guess what? We're not going to let you take it again.
For years, the left owned the culture. They told us what was funny and what was offensive. At any moment, you'd be canceled.
Conservative apartheid. Where have you heard that before?
For outlandish opinions, like maybe that Miss America shouldn't be able to pee standing up. But then it happened, the flip. Together we told the woke left to stick their scolding where the sun don't shine. Michael Moore's feet.
Yeah. I love the fact, by the way, being offensive is back. It's okay. And you want to know one of the moments that turned it was when Netflix tried to cancel Dave Chappelle. And Netflix actually stood up.
For years, the Dems sold this worldview where everything was an existential threat. The weather, your jokes, your lunch order.
Yes.
They made Jack Kevorkian look like Tony Robbins. They acted like achievement, competence, and fun were oppressive to people who weren't participating. And they got away with it because we let them shame us one by one. But then something happened. We decided to share the risk.
Yes.
When somebody got targeted for cancellation, others stepped in and said, nope, not today, Don Lemon.
Yeah.
All it took was standing up to a bully. Like when I finally got the courage to say, no, Dana, I won't do meth with you.
That's a conservative comedian. He shouldn't be able to say things like that.
And just like that, the shame weapon was gone. The people who thought they could mind read your intent and always assume the worst, they lost their theoretical superpower.
Yeah.
And the result, a new golden age of America, where wanting good things to happen leads to good things happening.
Oh.
And the left can't process this. They're trapped in a psych ward of their own making. Their brains broke, and they wake up every day angry at Americans for not feeling the same. And the rest of us, we're as free as my pool boys when they turn 18.
There you go. Again, that's conservative comedy. That's a conservative comedian. I had a woman write me the other day, I'm never going to listen again. I am never going to listen again. You said, I don't know, maybe I said the A word or the B word or something like that. And she said, I can't listen to you with my grandchildren around. And I said, I don't program the show for your grandchildren. We're all adults here. And if one word offends you and takes away from the rest of this show, then honestly, good luck finding another show. Because if you distill my show into one word that you find offensive, I don't want you listening. Thanks.
The days of being told you're evil for wanting to laugh are over. The grown-ups are back in charge of the party, and we're turning the music up louder than ever. And those who hated us, you're welcome to join us. But bring women, the kind that don't have to tuck in their junk.
Thank you. Yeah, and they silenced us. I'm done. I'm done with conservative apartheid. I lived with it for 30 damned years. Look what I got. Payment declined. CrescendoTV.com said that my payment failed. Yeah, this is my final reminder. Unresolved accounts will be automatically locked until billing is updated. The problem is I don't have an account with them. That's phishing. That's trying to get my credit card because I would be so busy thinking about all the accounts that I have that I don't want to have one go into default and affecting my credit rating, so that I give you my credit card number and my banking information, and then they take it. They take my money. Don't worry about that anymore with WebRoot Total Protection. WebRoot Total Protection is amazing. Right now, if you sign up for WebRoot Total Protection, go to webroot.com/Carson. You'll save 60%. Real-time antivirus protection against emerging threats like malware, ransomware, and scamming and phishing. Like that, firewall and network monitor, web threat shields, and detects and blocks malicious websites before you can accidentally visit them. Advanced dark web monitoring, VPN for 5 or 10 devices. Select your connection from 80 locations in more than 65 countries that hide your IP address, personal data, and location from hackers. Webroot.com/Carson. You will not believe when you go there right now. Go there right now. Look up webroot.com/Carson, and you see how much it's going to cost you for a year. You're going to go, no way I pay that per month on Netflix. It's remarkable. It's a great, great plan. Webroot.com/Carson. Webroot.com/Carson. Coming up next, he's got a new book, The Real Charlie Kirk. He is a former Democrat, but a firebrand nonetheless. Dick Morris joins us next on The Rob Carson Show. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. Forget fresh olive oil. I eat olive oil every day. I got rid of seed oils years ago. Life is too short to not have wonderful fresh olive oil, and I mean fresh. Olive oil packs the most flavor and healthy ingredients when it's fresh from the farm. And that's the problem with supermarket olive oils. They're not fresh. They can sit on the shelf for months growing stale. That's why I get my olive oil from small, award-winning farms, thanks to a fellow named T.J. Robinson, also known as the Olive Oil Hunter. When I tasted T.J. Farms' fresh olive oils, I fell in love with their vibrant, grassy flavors. They're incredibly delicious on salad, veggies, pasta, meat, fish, you name it. And as an introduction to his Fresh Pressed Olive Oil Club, TJ is willing to send you a full-size $39 bottle of one of the world's finest artisanal olive oils, fresh from the new harvest, for just $1 to help him cover shipping. There's no commitment to buy anything now or later. Get your free $39 bottle for just $1 and taste the difference freshness makes. Go to GetFreshRobCarson.com. That's GetFreshRobCarson.com for a free bottle and pay just $1 shipping. GetFreshRobCarson.com.
%, that's what Kimmel's lost since they put him back on the air. The morons at ABC were too blind to see that about Kimmel no one cares. 85% in a key demo. That is what Kimmel lost. Why they keep him around to keep losing ground, still air him no matter what the cost. Sinclair must feel real stupid now. Next star still with regret. 71% wonder where they went. On Kimmel's failure, you can bet.
Disney stock was $197 a share in March of 2021. Now it's $122 a share.
Disney must be in panic mode. They'd pull this show if they could. Why did they bring him back? This a funny hack. Suspension should have been for good. Looks like Tish may go to jail. Will George Soros post her bail? Trish, you know your many crimes will catch up with you. Mortgage fraud, that's her crime. She could do substantial time. Trish is gonna pay for saying things untrue. Her indictment is a sign. Do the right thing and resign. Playing fast and loose for Trish is nothing new.
I like the some people say. Very nice, but go ahead.
I'm just speaking fact.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm curious your reaction to that.
Well, I know the vice president. We served in the United States Senate together. We were on the Judiciary Committee together. She was very scripted. I think she's a lovely person. And she's entitled to her opinion. Yeah. But I have seen the polling before she got in the race. Yeah. And the poll showed that most Americans looked at the vice president and thought to themselves, when her IQ gets to 75, she ought to sell.
There you go. That is the great John Kennedy. Talking about Kamala Harris, who says she was the most qualified presidential candidate ever. I am dying to hear what Dick Morris has to say about this. Dick Morris, author and columnist, Washington Times, The Federalist, also a campaign, one of the people who engineered the presidency of Bill Clinton, who looks like a super centrist, almost conservative compared to the Democrat Party today. Dick Morris, how are you, my friend?
Good. Well, you forgot to mention Donald Trump. I
worked very
hard for Trump in 2020 and 24.
Well, you've done a lot. The country has changed a lot. I know you've got this new book out, which is selling like crazy. The Real Charlie Kirk, which is fascinating in itself. I'd like to talk about that, but I'd like to talk about what the Democrat Party and what it's facing right now. And clearly, there's a moment where they either invest in going way leftward or attempt to come back to the center. It appears they're leaning left. They didn't learn anything from 2024. What is the fate of the Democrat Party?
Yeah, but the Democratic Party never learns from defeat.
Yes.
It always moves to the left after it loses.
Yeah.
It's probably because its primary voters move it to the left.
Mm-hmm.
But you look at 1980 when Jimmy Carter lost. The Democrats came back with Mike Dukakis and I'm sorry, I'm blocking the other guy's name. Walter Mondale and Mike Dukakis.
Yes.
And they lost horribly. And then in 1972, after Nixon beat Humphrey, they came back with McGovern. Yes, the history of the Democratic Party always is that after it loses an election, it moves to the left. And you're seeing that now with Mamdani, and you're also seeing it with AOC. And they ultimately continue that until they get dragged back to the center by reality. And in one case, you had Bill Clinton dragging them back to the center, and the other, Richard Nixon, defeating them.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that what you're looking at with Mamdani is the normal reaction of Democrats, which is to move to the left after they lose an election.
Mm-hmm. But this is really left. I mean, this is like forsaking common sense. This is full-blown, we will support somebody who's an anti-Semite. We will support someone who refuses to tell Hamas to lay down their arms. We will support somebody who doesn't condemn globalize the Intifada. We will support a guy who glad hands someone who was an unidentified indicted co-conspirator of the 1993 World Trade Center bombings. And right now, the Democrat Party, they will support anybody if they can win. The same goes with the Attorney General race in the state of Virginia, a guy who's texted somebody said he would murder his opponent and kill the children. The Democrat Party is fine with it as long as they get a W. Would you say that they've lurched further left than they've ever lurched? Because I would.
Yeah, they have lurched much further left than they've ever lurched. They haven't had communists. Really. But the point is that they don't do this because they're opportunistic.
Okay, we have an issue with your audio, Mr. Morris. I apologize. Are you there, sir?
I'm sorry. How's that?
That's okay. Yeah, it sounds much better. Thank you. Continue your thought, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay. It's not because they're opportunistic. It's the opposite. It's because they're true believers, and the leftism comes out after they've lost an election. They're on their best behavior when they're trying to win. And then when a Kamala Harris loses, or Jimmy Carter loses, or a Hubert Humphrey loses, they're no longer on their best behavior. They're now what they truly are, which is left-wing radical communist freaks.
Yes. Do you see, as far as the Democrat candidates, I'm not seeing anything worth a damn in 2028. I don't think Dick, I'm usually right about this stuff, but they're not going to win back either house in the midterms. They're too bat-loon crazy. Donald Trump's having too many successes, and 2028 is very iffy as well, because right now the people they have in front, I don't think are electable. I don't think Gavin Newsom is electable. I certainly don't think Kamala Harris is. I don't think she'd make it past the primary. She didn't have to win a primary the last time. How is she going to win a primary and be the candidate? I don't believe she ever will be. What are your thoughts about that?
I don't think so. I think you're right. She never won a primary before, and no reason for her to start now. But I do believe the Democrats have a better shot in 26. I think there's normally a switch to the opposition party.
Yeah.
And the stronger Trump is, in a way, the more many voters are going to say, well, he's doing okay, he's a good president, but there should be some checks and balances here. And that can motivate a Democratic vote. But working against that is are three things. First, the Supreme Court, I think, is likely to say you have to throw out race-based districts.
Yep.
And if they do that, I think that there are there are 67 black Democratic congressmen who basically coast to elections, and they're going to have many of them will have fights on their hands.
Yes.
And many of them will lose to Republicans. And secondly, you have the midterm redistricting that Trump initiated, where when you take Texas and Missouri and a bunch of other states, the Republicans could gain 15 to 20 seats. So I think those facts, and then finally you have the deportation of illegal immigrants, which means that the capacity to cheat is limited because they don't have the bodies to cheat. So I think there are those factors in the other direction, but I would not write off 26 as a definite Republican triumph. We're going to have to work hard for that.
Well, of course, I agree with you, but I do think there are also other factors, including the fact that the media does not have complete domination anymore. The large letter networks are all have much smaller audiences. The censorship of Americans caused the rise of people like me, people like Matt Taibbi, Matthew Schellenberger, John Solomon, things like their alternate movie networks like Newsmax, and so they don't have the messaging ability to dominate the messaging in the same way.
And also we're winning CBS. CBS
yes.
is converting.
Hey, I want to have your opinion. Can you hold on through the break? Because I want your opinion on what's going to happen to CBS and CNN. Okay.
Yep.
I love it. I love it. More with Dick Morris on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show. It is the Rob Carson Show. Joining us on the Newsmax hotline is Dick Morris, a frequent guest on this show and figure in American politics for the last 30-plus years. And he's got a new book called The Real Charlie Kirk. Dick Morris, I don't think that the Democrats are going to be able to pull things off in the midterms. I think they've gone completely off the rails. They are siding with what were 80-20 issues, now are 90-10. I think I think this is a different midterm. Midterms, you normally expect that the opposition party is going to do. These guys are so backguano crazy, Dick. I'm sorry. I don't.
I just pulled up the definition of the term nihilism.
Uh-huh.
Nihilism. Yeah. And AI says it's a philosophical viewpoint that life is without inherent meaning, value, or purpose. It's associated with the rejection of objective truth, morality, and knowledge, and can lead to despair. Though some interpretations suggest that a lack of inherent meaning is the foundation for creating one's own purpose. The philosophy has different branches, including existential, moral, and epistemological. I guess that's spelling.
You just described the No Kings protests.
Exactly. And not just that. I'm describing the Mamdani candidacy very accurately. It believes that it rejects objective truth, morality, and knowledge, and can lead to despair. And I think that's what you're looking at in the left. The Mamdani voter is rejecting objective truth, rejecting morality, and rejecting knowledge, and is in personal despair. And I think that defines, increasingly defines the Democratic Party.
100%.
Nihilism.
And they want to drive. And they want to drive John Fetterman out of the party for having a modicum of common sense.
Well, yeah, but I think a lot of that is staged by Fetterman so that he can get reelected. He's flicking away on the shutdown vote, but on other stuff he stays loyal. So I'm not convinced. I don't buy into Fetterman's good faith, bad faith.
Your phone's sounding a little bit muddy. I wanted to ask what you think of CBS. You've got obviously new news director there, who is I would say center left, talking about bringing Brett Baer as the anchor of CBS. That would be an earthquake. Also CNN on the chopping block. What are your thoughts about those two networks?
Well, first of all, I think Barry Weiss, who's taking over CBS, is terrific. He's not just attending center. He puts his career on the line to tell the truth when he worked for the New York Times. And to endanger yourself with an institution like that, you have to be a true journalist.
Yes.
I think he is. As for CNN, I think the alternative is to watch it drop to zero. Elton John has the recipe for CNN, too low for zero.
Yeah. Do you suppose CNN will disappear into the ether, or will they come to the center and become what CNN originally was?
Yeah, I think the second is more likely. There's too much money invested in it to have it go into the ether. The interesting thing about CNN is that even though its ratings dropped, its advertising revenue rose.
Wow.
Because the establishment props it up, both internationally and within the U.S.
Yeah.
And I think that trend is likely to continue.
Yeah. There's I like to say that the November the 5th election was kind of the yan to the yin of leftism and evil around the world. And there was a movement toward patriotism, toward freedom, and toward faith. And it was moving quickly. And then Charlie Kirk was assassinated, and it moved into light speed. Tell me about your thoughts on Charlie Kirk and your book, The Real Charlie Kirk.
Well, I think the context you just elaborated is wonderful. Rob, I want to say to you personally that I don't often stay through the break on talk shows.
Yes.
But I did with you because you're so well informed and your ideas are so accurate.
Thank you.
I just adore being on your show.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that with Charlie Kirk, you're looking at the rejection of nihilism. And ultimately, nihilism leads to despair. And I think that on a sort of psychoanalytic basis, he understood that. The theological basis, he understood that. and he taps into a yearning for meaning and morality and objective truth. And I think that's why they shot him, and that's why they'll continue to attack people like that, because the true light of belief and of divine relevance is something that the left cannot handle,
yes,
and the nihilist never can.
Yes, and I never felt so strong about my faith and belief in freedom as I have now. I've never been more confident. You've seen this spreading. We just saw Milei winning a big midterm election. I believe that has repercussions here in the United States because this is moving. This is moving across Central and South America, across Europe, in Poland. It's happening, and it started with Trump, and it's going worldwide, Dick.
Yeah, you're right. And in South America, you have. I'm doing a lot of work there. You have Petro, the leader in Colombia, who can't run again, but his party is in the toilet, and his ratings are in the 20s. You have Maduro, who's hanging on by election fraud.
Yes.
And in Peru, you have the leader was just impeached twice. Yes. And I think that, and in Brazil, I think that the Lula is hanging on by a thread. He always has, but I think it'll be gone. And I think you're looking at a major shift in Latin America.
I do too.
To the right.
Well, Dick,
of course, in Europe, you're looking at the populist parties taking over from what you call the big letter alphabet party.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a worldwide movement. Dick Morris, it's been a pleasure having you on, and I do appreciate your compliment. You have no idea, because I was a kid in my 20s when I was writing for Rush Limbaugh, and you were working with the Clintons, and I was writing all those pieces of comedy about the Clintons, and so I was learning then. And so to hear from somebody who was a seasoned expert in politics to say such a thing about my program, it means so much to me. I appreciate that very much, brother. I really do.
Well, I really mean it.
Thank you, sir.
You take care.
All right, thank you very much. I appreciate it. That's pretty cool. Dick Morris thinks I got it going here. That's pretty cool. I was just a kid, and here we are. Here we are in 2025. What a pleasure. And by the way, he does have this book. It's called The Real Charlie Kirk. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a Newsmax publishing book, and if you get a chance to, it's on Amazon, by the way. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. That means a lot to me because, I always dreamed of, I didn't know where my path would take me, but obviously I followed politics for a very long time. I was writing political satire for 20 years doing music radio. So now I'm a new voice in talk radio, in conservative talk nationally 5 years in. So to hear that from somebody who's been in it as long as he has, he'd been in it for 30 years. That was something else. Appreciate it. Astro Turtle says, Dick Morris knows winners. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Skins Girl. Hello, Skins Girl. And proud to be a Jew. Good to see you guys over on the Facebook. Let me go to the Facebook here. I got all my windows open. It's getting cold in here. But I do have all my windows open and on my computer here. I need a bigger screen where I can see all of your chats at the same time. But right now I have to switch back and forth between each one individually. So pardon me as I can't switch immediately like I would. Oh, here we are. There we go. Let's go over to the Facebook. I'll have to wait on that to load. Let's go to YouTube. Kimberly Vederhold, you're still there. Doug. 30X, whatever the hell. Good to see you. Thanks for chiming in. I'm so glad that each one of the platforms you have your own little community you can partake in, because together with all of these platforms that we have, we got a network. It's like a network. It really is. It's like a network. It's kind of crazy. I got to talk about gold now. That's what I'm going to do. Nothing you can do about it. I'm going to talk about gold. Then I might play a parody. I don't know. Yeah, I think I'll play a parody. Hold on. I got it added here. Yeah, here we go. Sorry, while I talk to you, I got to prepare for the next break.
That's 3:20 here.
3:09. There's a Rob Carson Show. That was very kind of Dick Morris to say that. And it meant a lot to me because, like I said, I started writing political comedy when I was 23 years old for Rush Limbaugh. And then spent most of my musical career in in all my career in music radio until 10 years ago. I switched to talk radio, and this is my second gig in talk radio. First syndicated gig, and only 5 years in, kind of a fresh voice to talk radio. And for somebody as seasoned as Dick Morris, to say such a thing means a lot to me because, I walk in Mr. Limbaugh's footsteps. No one will ever fill his shoes. I'm doing my best, man. I am. I'm doing my best. By owning gold and silver, why it is more critical than ever. Global financial markets are undergoing a profound transformation, and this creates an urgent need for tangible assets that exist entirely outside digital oversight. What's that? It means gold, silver. Silver is entering a rare technical phase, one that could mark generational opportunity for investors. Historic highs around $50 an ounce, seen in 1980 and 2011, and could go to $85 to $150 an ounce, which would mean this coin, this glorious silver coin from Birch Gold, will go up in value even more, as well as the gold, which has gone up 65% this year. Birch Gold, you can right now, due to overwhelming demand for free silver, they've extended the current promotion through Veterans Day. Here's the deal. You buy gold, you get free silver, which is, again, surging in price, both of them. Every $5,000 purchased from Birch Gold by Veterans Day, Birch Gold will send you a free 1-ounce patriotic silver round that commemorates the Gadsden and American flags. Gold up 60%, silver at historic highs and going up. You better take advantage of this. If you got a 401k that's just lying there like my ex-wife or Joe Biden's brainwaves, you need to go to Birch Gold. Just text my name, Rob, to 989898, Rob to 989898. They will send you a free information kit on gold, and they'll give you an idea how to make this happen. They'll do all the heavy lifting for you. They'll contact the place where you got your money. Maybe it's your retirement, whatever, and they'll do the paperwork. All you got to do is give them the okay. So all you got to do is give them the okay, and then you're going to be in. You're going to be in like Flynn. There you go, with gold and silver, which is going through the ceiling dramatically, by the way. Going through the silver dramatically. By the way, in a bellwether for the midterms, Javier Milei in Argentina won his midterms, meaning that his populism is on the ascension. It's not going anywhere. Despite the left doing everything it can to take him down, he's growing in popularity. The same thing is happening here. I'm telling you. We can't take anything for granted, but the Democrat Party cannot expect to win the midterms because they have nothing going for them, and they're insane. There you go. That's going to do it for the show today, guys. If you get a chance to check out the podcast, go to your usual podcast platforms, look up Rob Carson Show, and subscribe. In the meantime, have a glorious day. God bless you, Donald Trump, and what he's doing for America, America as founded. And, of course, until tomorrow, which is Tuesday, do not catch the stupid. See ya.
All right, Robbie, have a good night.
See you, Brian. Bye.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.